Hello and thanks for joining me for this Cricket Club webinar. My name is Dave Evans and I'll be giving you a bit of background on PaySubs Online, looking at what we do, why we do it and how we do it. So briefly, how it all began. Many moons ago, I managed an adult football team. The hassle of collecting forms, chasing players for money, recording who's paid, chasing non-payers went on all season long. Fast forward 15 years and I became involved in running a junior football team. And guess what? Things hadn't changed. Cash and cheques were still flying around and people were filling in paper forms in the rain. I thought surely there's a website out there that can help modernise this madness, but there wasn't. So I decided to do something about it and started by looking at what doesn't make sense to do in this day and age. So, well, it certainly doesn't make sense to have new members fill out paper forms that had to be typed up by the membership secretary. That's a no-brainer. Members can type up their own forms and submit them online. Info goes straight into a membership database, unless of course you want to approve them first. And it doesn't make sense to send out renewal forms to existing members who have to complete it, send it back to the membership secretary for them to cross-reference against last year's info. Members are capable of checking and updating their own information. They just need access to it. And it doesn't make sense to spend time chasing members for payment when you can have a system that does that for you. And it doesn't make sense to ask members to write out a cheque, put it into an envelope, buy a stamp and put it when they can simply pay online. Equally, it doesn't make sense for the poor membership secretary to spend time ticking off who's paid and waiting for enough money to make another trip to the bank. So much easier if the funds are transferred and reconciled automatically. And it also doesn't make sense that just one person in the club has the latest spreadsheet, and if anybody else needs it, they have to wait for a copy to be emailed. Much better if there was a central source of information so authorised officials can access the latest data online. Those which, as we mentioned earlier on, you can sell products and services through the system as well. We can build online forms for those items. So typically your membership form, we add members to the system. We can request payment. Oh, clicked on too far there. We request payment. We can receive payment, and then we have access to the latest payment information and the latest membership information. Okay, so I'm going to switch over now to the actual website itself. Okay, here we are over here. So I'm not going to go into every feature and function of the site. I'm just going to go over really the common functions used, the ones that are going to save you the most amount of time, with the idea that by the end of the webinar, you'll have a good idea of what it's like to manage your membership online, and then you compare that to your current processes, and then you can decide what's best for your club. Okay, so the first thing that we would do is we'd come over here to subscription options and click on membership categories, because we're going to set up our membership categories. So if I click on add new membership category, so what we're talking here, we're talking about our adult membership, our junior membership, maybe some family memberships. Any membership category you've got, you can replicate it on the system. So if I wanted to set up one here called 2015 adult for monthly installments, we can do that. And if you give that option and members select that they want to pay by installments, they're going to be required to pre-authorize future payments to the club. So each time the club requests payment, the system can automatically go off and collect it and reconcile it. We can also put a little bit more on. Maybe we want to charge another £10 for the privilege of paying by installments. Okay, so next, when payment is due, when requesting payment from members, payment is due on request. That's typical, but you might say it's due within 10 days. And all that is on the payment reports, when you're looking at who's overdue, they won't be shown. You'll send out the renewal forms, the member will fill it in, goes back to the membership secretary. Membership secretary has got to cross-reference that against last year's spreadsheet. Well, this allows members to do that checking and updating themselves. So when they log into their account, they can see the form for this membership category, and then they can update it. Okay, next is allow prospective members to register for this membership category via the online registration page. So we give you an online registration page that you can embed into your club website, or maybe you just want to link directly to it. And here we're saying, yeah, we're going to allow people to sign up for this category via that page. Typically it's yes, but you might get towards the end of the season and you want to turn that off. That's fine, you can do that there. Next is ask for payment at the point of registration. So some clubs like to vet people first before they join, so you would select no, and as people register, they'll be added to a group called Online Registrations Awaiting Approval, where you can review their information, approve them or remove them. I'm going to say, yeah, I'm happy to take their money at the point of registration. And then the last step is the email templates. So each membership category comes with its own set of email templates. Now, the reason behind that is it gives you flexibility, because, for example, when you're requesting payment from the adults, the content of that email may be different to the email that goes out to the junior section. To take it that's the most basic, when it ends up in the members inbox, it'll all be very personalized. The next one is the welcome email. So this is for when new people are joining. Just thanks for registering. This is username. This is the link to the member login. Saves you, the administrator, the job of putting people's information into the membership database when somebody registers online, and be communicating with that member as they do. This is an automated email that would go out. You can upload an attachment to it. So maybe you want to include the club's welcome pack, or I don't know, a very simple one in medical conditions. We can make it mandatory or not. We can make stuff for internal use, view only, so members can see the data in the field but can't actually edit it. Make it free type, multiple choice, make it date related. And you can include statements onto the form as well, which are great for things like declarations, maybe your photography consent, maybe data protection, whatever it might be. You can pop it into a statement there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here to copy form from. We've got some pre-canned templates, just best practice templates really. If I select an adult form there, I'm going to copy it. And then there we go, that's my form done. Okay, so once we've got one set up, setting up the next category or categories is very simple. We just come back over to membership categories, click on copy, and I'm going to change this to say junior and reduce down the price. Maybe I'll turn off the installment option, and that's that finished. Perhaps maybe should make a change in here. So instead of dear first name, maybe I want to say dear parent first name. There we go. Pop that in there and save that. And then I'd probably do the same for the welcome emails and the other email templates there. Click on save and finish. So once, or copying a membership category, we'll copy the settings, copy the templates, copy the forms. So because our juniors are going to have a different form to our adult members, I'm just going to come over here to admin and forms. And I'm going to select my junior group. And I'm going to pull back a junior form template and copy that. So that's the basic setup of creating your membership categories and your forms. By the way, you don't need to remember any of this, because as part of our service, we pay in one go. Okay, so if I just put in, I don't know, Joe logs. I've not made the fields here mandatory, just simply because when I'm testing, it's much easier just to go through and fill out the form without having to fill in everything. First name and email address is mandatory, but the rest isn't. Here's one of your questions, and definitely when you make it mandatory, it's about volunteering and getting people to help out in the club. So they have to answer one of these options here. So I'm goes then through the back system and is transferred directly to the club, or maybe you want to offer the option to pay by card. If you do, we use PayPal to facilitate that transaction, and then by clicking on pay here, that then goes to PayPal. If they've got a PayPal account, they can just log in and pay. If they haven't, then they can just click here, pay with a debit or credit card, and they can just make the transaction that way. Okay, so that's how people can register via the registration page. So now I'm just going to come over to the members section. And we'll build the form for that. I think we have that. Yeah, we got coach's form. I'm going to copy that. Click on OK. And if I scroll down here, here we go. We've got the DBS info and we got the first aid certificate. We've got also some coaching qualification stuff in there. If I need to make any change to any of the cost of the membership category on an individual basis, I can do. Maybe I want to queue up this payment request to go out maybe on the 1st of April, so I could just select the members and then enter a payment request date and then apply it. I can see that, just click on turn off email. Okay, I'm going to click on save and finish, and then that's us sending membership renewals. Okay, whilst the system processes that, it works in 2-minute cycles in the background with processing payment requests. Let's take a look at a member's record. In actual fact, no, just before we do that, let's just come in here and let's just add a few of our members into the junior membership category. So we've got a bit of data in our payment reports when we take a look at those. Schedule the payment request now. Yeah, I want to do that. Oh, sorry, need to click next. I'm just going to turn off the email just because I don't want to email myself. Click on save and finish, and that's done. Okay, and then I'm also going to just copy those same junior members over to my under 10s group. And organizing people into age groups is great because then you can to somebody else. If I click on link this lead member to another member, if I type in Harry, there's a Harry there. Click on next. Anyone will do for this exercise. Harry Bryant. Click on OK. Okay, so those two are now linked, so they'll share one online account. So if I scroll down his record, I can now see that linkage down here. And if I scroll back up to the top, I'm going to now do Kieran's online login. Now, this is a really useful feature in terms of support because you will get members that say, I can't do this, see that. Well, by clicking on this, you can see exactly what they can see. So we're now into Kieran's membership record, or sorry, member login. And this is the page that he's going to see. Once he logs in here, he's going to be into this page here. So we can see the people that are linked to him. So if I click on Harry's record, I can see Harry's info too. And if I click on payment, I'll be able to see both of their payment requests here. Because we gave the option to pay by installments, they can select whether they want to pay in full now or pay by installments. So let's do one of each. And then we've got the option here of paying by direct debit or paying by card. And notice, because I selected paying by installments, that they now have to pre-authorize future payments. So that's ticked by default. So every time an installment becomes due, we can just go off and we can collect the payment. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the administrator's login. I'm going to come over here now to financials, which is pretty much where you're going to spend 95% of your time once we've done that initial setup for you, because you're really just monitoring the money coming in. You might have to record some offline payments. So if I come here and to record offline payment, and let's say I want to record an offline payment here for a couple of our adult members. I can just come in here and just tick who's paid. In actual fact, I'm ticking in the wrong place. I should be ticking over here. So these guys have paid. I can make any changes to actually how much they owe. I can also record part payment too. And in here, I can just select how they paid. And if I click on save, that will now save payment, that record. So now if I go over to financials and payment reports, we'll have a bit of data in there. So I can see what's been paid for an activity period. So I've got an activity period of the last week. So it's showing me everything that's paid in the last week, and I can click on that number and it will show me the underlying members. It shows me what my forecasted income is for the accounting period. So up until the 11th of March 2016, we've got £6,500 due. This is particularly useful if you're maybe taking ongoing monthly donations, or maybe you've set up a 100 club. The system will then forecast what's due based on all those future payments. It tells me what's been paid for the accounting period to date and what's outstanding. So if I click on that £500, here are the guys I've recorded payment for, and if I click on that £100, it will tell me how it's been paid. Come back over to payment reports. So I got my £6,000 outstanding there. If I click on that, so we got £6,000 outstanding for the club. Lists it all out for me here, but maybe I want to say, all right, well, show me who's outstanding in the under 10s, for example. Well, it might be the first team, might be the second team. And then the system will pull back everybody who owes money from the under 10s. And then if we want to get this information out, we can do, so we can export just the screen information as what you see here, or detailed information, which basically means membership implied payment information, which is useful if you maybe want to send that to the coaches, or in actual fact you can give access to the coaches to the payment reports. And so we can just come down here and then we can pick out the fields that we want, and we can have that alongside some transactional data. And then we can save the export criteria. So maybe this is a monthly export that you're doing for a reporting. You can save it. Next time you come along, you can say, okay, I'll just load up my monthly export criteria. And clicking on email. And then we can write them a chaser email from here. You can actually set up a template for this. I've not actually done that, but it will just pull in your template. Click on send email, and then that will go off and chase those members, and then the system will keep track of when you're sending out reminders. Over here it will tell you when you last sent a reminder to those people. So that's the payment reports. The next thing to show you is what happens next year. So fast forward 12 months, you've been using the system, it's great, saving you heaps of time, increasing your income. We want to renew our membership for next year. And this is one of the most powerful parts of the system. It's just going to save you a whole heap of time. So let's say I want to renew the annual membership for our adults. I'm just going to click on renew, and I'm going to rename that. I'm going to call that 2016. I can change the price if I want to change the price. If I want to review the membership categories settings, I can do. Then click on next. And then the system says, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to renew all members in the old membership category? Or do you just want to renew the ones that paid last year? Typically, it's just the ones that are paid are going to be your members going forward. So normally I would select that. And if I click on next, then we're back into the loop. What do you want to do? Schedule a payment request now? Yeah, let's do it now. And then it will bring me back all the people that paid. So we recorded 5 people as being paid earlier on. And then we can come in here, click on save and finish, and then blast your entire membership list, or I can pick out any of the groups. So I can send targeted group emails. So if I just select my master membership list and next, the email editor will load up. and then I can create my email. I can personalize it with all the fields in the database. I can just preview that before it goes out. Click on send, and that sends it off. So there's no more copying and pasting emails into Hotmail, Gmail, or whatever. Training for whoever needs it. You get support, which is telephone, email, and chat. Ongoing product development, enhancement, any fixes, and that's what those two elements of costs get. I mean, I think it's very good value for money, but you will get people in the committee that maybe won't be using the system, and maybe we'll just look at the cost. What I'd say on the cost side of things is not really to focus too much on that, because the cost will look after itself through better payment collections, through using the fundraising tools, through